And we're back with another episode of Let's Play Shining Force, the worst party, voted by you, the viewers. I'm just your RPG guy. And I went gung-ho. We got half the party to probably 20. Adam's at 18, and strangely enough, Aleph, I had trouble keeping her alive sometimes. So she's only at level 16. But all in all, we're getting there. Now, didn't mean to press that button. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to... Okay, so technically we're at max level. Now, anytime a character levels, in theory, the theory that has been kind of promoted is that characters will get very little level up bonuses, if any at all. Sometimes they'll get a lot... The understanding is you get a lot of empty levels. We shouldn't see levels like what Ken just got, right? He just hit level 20. Allegedly. That's the theory that's always been promoted, is once you hit 20 levels pre-promotion, 20 levels post-promotion, you kind of stop seeing character growth. That's substantial. Because I've seen stat bonuses that are just out of this world insane. And the funny thing is we still have more stat bonuses to kind of manipulate and look at. And again, for people who haven't watched my analytical stuff on this, look, there's Adam's stats right there at 18. 67, 78. If you want to reference 67, 78, 63, 83. So his attack is already higher than Gunce's, and that's with the power ring, but without a weapon. So you can take that or leave it. I couldn't think of anybody to give the power ring to at the moment, so we're just leaving it on Adam for what it's worth. But ultimately, like, we'll see. We'll probably get some level ups past level 20, and really we'll get to take a look and see how much of that is true. And I'm not going to just base it off of one or two really good level ups. I'm going to base it up on, like, we'll just try to keep track of it, because clearly if I'm going to win these battles, I can't win it with 4 characters who are under level 20. We're going to have to use some of our other guys. I'm going to try to, in this battle specifically, I'm going to avoid doing that as much as possible, unless it's ice worms, because they're only creature type giving garbage XP at this point. So I'll let the level 20s deal with the ice worms, and everyone else can focus on, especially the underleveled characters can focus on everything else. And just as a reminder, the laser shooting enemies are still the biggest threat. They have not reduced the amount of threat that they are. So keep that in mind. But, like I said, ultimately, like, every character is still really decent and taking little to no damage. Dare I say Hans is actually tanking. Though, again, he's several levels higher than everyone, than, you know, what you would normally be here, so that'll taper off as we progress through the game, but it's still kind of a funny thing to take notice of. It really is. Alright, and we'll have Adam deal with these jets, I think, will be the most practical thing we can do. I think the weakest attacker is Low, followed by, strangely enough, Gong's attack is better than Hans and Amon. But only by a little bit, not by much. And that's going to change anyway. That'll probably change. Maybe not Amon so much, but I think Hans gets one more weapon upgrade, making Amon probably the worst offensive line character per level. Here, you'll see what I mean here is no literally like 9 XP maybe. 1. Just 1. So I don't mind level 20s killing off the ice worms, because they're not going to get much anyway. There's Adam. Adam's over there, you know. Let's just deal with these jets, regardless of who it is. Yeah, Ken's attacks turned around quite a bit. Not gonna lie. Of course we can't reach that way. Can we reach here? Untouched, though. You know what? Screw it. We need the XP. She can one-shot it. She can do 3 one-shots. So, there we go. A lot of people casually don't ever get to see Bolt level 4, so it's always fun to pull that out. Not gonna lie. So we'll get low the rest of the way here. Yeah, you'll notice I'm just, like, throwing my characters at the enemies without any, like, thought. And that's really because the only threats are the Torch Eye, or the technology enemies. I mean, the Ice Worms, yes, they're Ice Breath, but it doesn't kick in all the time, so it's not a big deal. The casters are always a threat because of their magic, and that's the one thing you're going to notice about Shining Force 1 over the other Shining games, is the breath attacks and the magic attacks become more of a threat than the they become a bigger threat than the actual physical attacking enemies, to the point where it's almost ridiculous. Now, we're still getting maximum XP from jets, so it's really the machinery. And part of me wonders, are the jets really where the Matrix got their robot monster type creatures from? I'm just wondering. Didn't exist before. I don't think a robot squid monster existed before this game, but I could be wrong. I've seen a lot of sci-fi too, and I've not seen one except until I saw the Matrix, so makes me wonder if they ripped it off of this. And Arthur just has, you know, pretty all-around great stats. On top of the fact he can cast Bolt 1 multiple times, which is the only spell in his arsenal that's worth a damn. You know, 13, you know, and because he's a frontline fighter, he can get right up there, do it. Which does not devalidate his AoE. So watch this, I'm gonna put Arthur here, and he's just gonna hang out. Because, you know, it's Arthur. We're not gonna have anybody waste time with these. So we'll get Adam to start working his way up to fight the Minotaurs and everything else that will give him actual XP. But yeah, at this point in the game, we should be pretty good to just literally just casually move on. You notice I'm still making sure we get Adam the XP he needs. And or at least I'm trying to keep that attempt open / feasible. But Aleph is too far away. Hans is gonna get hit here. Let's see. Oh, nice whiff. Leave that for Aleph, I think. Get rid of that ice worm. For the whopping 5 XP, mainly for attacking Chaos. We didn't get it for much else beyond that. There's more room for her to get up there. May as well use that so we can get the kill plus weaken. Okie dokie. I probably should have tried to heal Hans. Oh well. That'll be a give for Adam. Which really, with the Power Ring, could have killed it by himself. Attack 4 bonus. Yeah, it's really, to be fair, I think every character in this game is feasible. It's just their weakness is literally how late in the game you get them. I can't think of a party I could not beat this game with. Because even at level 20, Hans is taking, like, pretty nominal damage. So I'd imagine Diane, Lyle would be the same thing. The casters are still semi-squishy, but not in the worst way. And then you'd have Max. So even with an all-range party, which was suggested by a viewer, it's not hard, it's just time-consuming. It's how much time you put into it. Now, the question is, if you promote at level 10, and I do think that, yeah, that would be the harder deal, but the reality of it is if you just keep leveling, you'll beat it. You know, I don't know. Actually, your stats are generally 10 levels lower. You probably have a pretty rough time, I would think. Still, I don't know. It's something I got to think about. The more I think about it, the more interesting the ideas about it in my head become. I know that sounds weird, like a weird way to phrase that, but okay. So I either go with something pretty large to kill both, or we kill one. Screw it. Adam won't be able to reach any of it, but whatever. Screw it. No, you know we'll do it. And still have a little left for another attack. Not a bolt 2, but well, a couple more attacks available. And then anybody can pick off that laser eye, that torch eye. Start weakening chaos here. Because there's a chance, you know, like with Ken just now, that somebody might miss. People might miss multiple times. Yeah, the fact we still get good XP for being level 20 is pretty interesting. I don't remember who was nearly dead. Unless it's somebody who moved back. Or they already died, one of the two, take your pick. Skunks? I have no idea who it was. Other than maybe Amon. 48, so even if she kills something, it won't really be that substantial. Should probably still let her try to get the kill anyway. Have Adam work on Chaos. How often do you see Adam kill Chaos, right? Or fight Chaos in this fight? Unless he did what I did. Let's bolt the Demon Master that way. It's a little weaker. Remember, pretty much most of my characters can give anything now. So, because of that, we run into the conundrum of getting enemies weak enough so they don't get instantly murdered. Which is easier said than done. Because he can damage it. Why not? Nobody's fucking hitting this thing. What the fuck? Okay. There we go. Yeah, you saw that correctly. He hits that hard. For what it's worth, Arthur almost hits that hard, and he doesn't even have that weapon. Keep that in mind. So we're going to end this fight. And we're going to move on. Because the few stat levels behind that Aleph is not going to really ultimately change too much here. Like, as far as character performance goes. I'm also going to be using the running pepper on Adam. It'll be the only stat item I feel the need to use, to be fair. Put in the Sword of Light. And this is the one thing that sucks. The Sword of Light should have had Ice magic attached to it, I think. And then you get the Bolt 2 magic from here. But you get Ice 3, I think, in return. So, Okay, who has the Evil Sword? Who did I put it on? You Evil Sword! There it is. Sword of Darkness, where did you go? And there is the Chaos Brachial. Open Sesame. Yeah, I didn't know what other ring to really put on him for the moment, so I just put that on him. So be it. Alright, so we got one more battle to kind of end this chapter here. And like I said, at this point, there's not really much else to grind for. You know, we've got characters mostly at level 20 with the exception of Adam, Aleph, and Low. I think everybody else is 20. So, yeah. If you're wondering, that grinding session took, without the fast forward feature on the Sega Mega Drive collection, I would say it took about, and I was checking my time, and it took about, 2 hours. So 2 hours of my life gone dedicated to leveling Adam and Aleph. So take that in stride, will you not? Oh, we need to talk to the king. Why did I leave? Because you're an idiot, bro. Alright. Alright. Let me see here. Yeah. And I want to say there's only like one character left to pick up, and that's Hanzo. So yeah, that commentary I made before is I still think he's one of the worst characters. He's probably the worst specialty character. As much as people like him, I still think he's the worst. You're a mean one, Mr. Burns. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't put that pepper on Adam. We're gonna have to do that. We're gonna do that. We're gonna actually aggress from this fight and do that really quick. The only buffing item that we're gonna use. At least for now. I might get a bug on my butt and say, hey, it'd be fun. Let's put all the upgrades on somebody. Probably the main hero. Alright, Adam's gonna get the pepper. So now his movement is still not as good as Gunce's movement, I don't think. But it's one better than it was. And I still want Gunce to have the better movement, and the reason being is he still has the better defensive stats than Adam. Adam's attack is better. That's the trade-off. And it's only because he has the power ring, but Adam's also maybe 2 levels behind Gunce. So he might make up that extra damage somewhere else. Now again, outdoor battles, we don't care about XP. I just want to get through them as quickly as I humanly can, as humanly possible. So it's not because outdoor battles suck big floppy donkey dong. So don't look at me, I didn't design the game to suck big fucking floppy donkey dong. To have terrain that's almost impassable. It's not this, again, like I said, there's so many tactical RPG games out there that are terrible. This is definitely the worst part of Shining Force 1 is the outdoor fights. Mainly, again, exclusively even because of the terrain. But we're seeing new enemies. We got these robot skeleton creatures. Every enemy here, except maybe the High Priest, would give good XP. So, because the Horseman is an upgrade from the Bow Rider. So, and yes, Joggart is still freaking with us. But you're going to see me be a complete dick. What? You're a mean one, Mr. Burns. 1 XP. Actually, the Mage Masters might start being not a good option either. For XP. And Hans' HP just through the roof. Again, one of the reasons why Lyle is not as good. You know, I think Hans had like almost 20 HP more than Lyle did by level 20 on average. So that's 2 of these magic. That's like 1.5 of these magic attacks. Yeah, I don't want to misspeak when I say that. There's a lot of Lyle fans out there. The other benefit is that Hans can move through this woodland terrain without mobility issues. So he's really only affected by mountains, because there is a swamp terrain, or like a high tall grass terrain, but that's only 15% movement issues. It shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, man. Come on. You're a mean one, Mr. Burns. You're a mean one, a sick one. I don't know. I just... Is there another lyric I could say than just, you're a mean one, Mr. Burns? I need to check out what Lowe's 2 next level is. He's got to be close. And the other thing, too, is Arthur's getting a weapon upgrade in the final chapter as well. There's another halberd, I believe, out there. And so he'll be squared away quite nicely. I want to leave that mage for Adam. And like Kiwi and other enemies in like Blue, once in a while he has a beam attack that kicks in. It does probably double what his normal attack is, but not as much as critical. I'm not sure, because I've never seen him crit. I've only seen him do that or the laser beam. So I'm not going to judge it yet. And here's the thing, is I've played this game many times, but I don't really pay attention to those types of things when I play these games. I just try to enjoy the experience, you know? Sitting there micromanaging every fucking number, I'd probably lose my mind. So yeah, if anybody's like going, Ken's hitting like a fucking truck, it's because he's got the best spear in the game on him. You could give that literally to any knight or any spear user, and it would make their attack like incredible. So I know it seems like there was an argument between a couple of viewers on Ken being the worst, and I do disagree. I don't think Ken is. Well, I disagree with the notion that Ken is the worst knight. He's definitely not he's not the best. He's far from it. But the worst is kind of misleading. I still think Vankar statistically is probably the worst knight in the game. And that's just based off of his raw statistics. Nothing else. Just straight up raw stats. See, Adam would be one-shotting these things even without them being weakened. He's gonna level We're not getting a lot of XP though, so from the Minotaurs. That's why you can see I sent Amon to go after the boss of this fight. I just don't think this is worth wasting time here unless they make me. Level 21, empty level. Immediate empty level. Like I said, I think if they're gonna get anything, they're gonna get like a +1 to a single stat, which can include but not be limited to HP. Who knows, maybe Aleph can reach that Cerberus for a kill. That'd be nice. She would appreciate it. Give me an idea about our XP growth here. $32, so it's still not a full kill, but it's still pretty good. And horsemen are in the skeleton enemies we will see in endgame, so the skeletons are pretty outdated, but will be outdated by then. But the horse dudes show up right before, they show up in the last chapter as a standard enemy type. So. See, she got a kill. Let's start moving everybody south here. Who needed healing? Oh, it was Arthur, but we can't reach Arthur right now. Or not Arthur, Hans. Just want to get everybody in position. As you can see, everything's starting to kind of now shift towards us. Now, Amon might die in my attempt to accomplish this, but I'm not. Again, it's not something I'm worried about. It'd be interesting to see if we can do it. We probably can, but unless the priest involves himself, but yeah, we probably should be able to do it. And so even the skeletons get machine guns, which is the equivalent of a breath attack. Just as you would assume. It's very silly. Good. Goody, goody. I think he can reach. But you will next round. Yeah, Amon gets... Okay, so it got 2 stats. So like I said, we're going to keep our eyes on that and see how that really plays out for us. Maybe there is more to it. Maybe it is. But I mean, okay, every person who's talked about the stats, I should be very transparent about this instead of ambiguous. Okay, everybody does say you can get stat bonuses after level 20 whether you're promoted or not. The issue is that the stat promotions become total garbage. So we got 1 attack and 1 defense. That's in the way that this game is presented leveling to us, that's not very good. Right? Because normally we were seeing characters get, 2, 4. Adam got freaking 9 to an attack stat when he leveled. That's rare. But, seeing an offensive character only get a 1+1 is not a good thing. Usually you want to see more than that when, by the time you promote. Some people have argued that when you play the game in the early levels you don't see big growth, so why should you see it when you can't validate character growth anymore? That's another argument too. Somebody like me or other fans should sit down and we should probably look at that comment, because I do think that might be a thing. Oh well, you're only seeing the big stat growths in the higher levels. but when you get, and then when you stop growing in those higher levels, you think it's strange versus what the normal growth was before that. So I do understand that commentary. I don't have to agree with it because I haven't really done like quasi-epic leveling, the quasi-epic leveling required to make it, to use that as an example, but to give you an example or to analyze it. But it is something to think about, I guess. Are you just leveling the way you would have been back in the day, and then is that only between the empty levels? Because if you include the fact that maybe every other level is an empty level, then it is a complete waste of time. Because you'd hit level 40 and only get half of that worth of levels, and that's assuming those levels were even that good. So there are some things to say about it, out of curiosity's sake and amongst other things, but yeah. Be interesting to know. It's like some of you are just probably mesmerized that Hans is frontline fighting the way he is. So attack 1, speed 1, just a very small level. Nothing to, jaw-droppingly awesome, There we go. I was gonna say it should kill it. There we go. That should end the fight. Yeah. So nobody died, so we don't have to revive anyone. And as I said earlier, I hate outdoor fights. I believe this is the last outdoor fight, unless I'm getting my chapters mixed up. No, I think this is the last outdoor fight. Which, yeah, if they ever remake this game, anything that's like all the terrain should be reduced by about half of the harsh terrain. Then you'd have to rebalance the game too, so there's that. And there's Hanzo, which is spelled differently when he's in your party. They added an extra U. So we are now in Runefaust. Or Runefaust. I call it Runefaust. I don't know why, I just do. Blah 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 blah. Now, if you played Shining Force, Resurrection of Dark Dragon, you get an actual secondary storyline following Ramladu's daughter. How I feel about that side story is it's a neat idea that Ramladu has a daughter and that she's trying to help. But ultimately, I didn't like it very much. I didn't like that side story, but maybe I'll do a max level of the characters from that game. Because you get extra characters. There's a couple new characters. And we can compare them to many of the other characters. I just personally don't find a value to it. Its existence. And here's my stance, and I always like talking about this with, especially you guys, the viewers. If I were to try to reboot the Shining series and get it back on track, I would only make 2 types of Shining games, maybe 3. And some of you are like, wait, what are they? Well, it'd be Shining Force games, the Shining in the Darkness style games, or Shining in the Holy Ark, same style. And then maybe do like a regular JRPG style that is not first-person perspective. I don't know. Kind of change it, kind of something like Beyond the Beyond or Golden Sun, and do it in that kind of style. That's how I would do it. And I think it would turn out pretty good, to be fair. Check over here. Yeah, there is one better weapon. To buy for Hans. So that'll increase his attack. Thank you, come again. Bringing him up to a coveted 65, which puts him on par with Adam. Adam, Arthur, and some of the other melees. We can put them on par with Ken as well. Yeah. We're gonna go meet Rami. We're gonna go kick his butt, and then all will be right in the universe. What's your point? So, we're gonna get a new weapon for Arthur here. It'll replace his lance, which I'll just probably end up dropping. How much room does he got? He's got enough room to carry 2 items. We'll have him go get both of those items while we send everyone else up to deal with the following. As you can see, I've just no care whatsoever. I probably should, because I forget now. We're getting into the breath enemies in mass quantities. Debacle. So, I probably shouldn't be powering characters up here. So, I'm going to just stop as far as Jacktard here. I'm going to bring the others that far up just to get things kind of moving. Because I want to try to make the most out of these next few episodes. Because it's all just going to be straight up combat from here on out. And it's the combat you've all been really waiting for and wanting to see. Is the final chapter. Because we have the worst party. There's nothing's going to change. Only a handful of characters are going to get new weapons. If any. So this is really it. You know, Arthur's going to get a better weapon. Nobody else is really going to get a better weapon than what they already have. So, yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, it just, I'm sure for a lot of you it just seems so strange that I can steamroll over so many enemies. That's just the way it is. I mean, Ken still takes damage very poorly, unfortunately, compared to his counterpart, Arthur, who would take 1 damage probably from that attack. There we go. You see, only really 2 of them got into range. Technically 3. Look, that one's running like a babe. That one's running like a wuss. It knows. They know. They're aware. I have no fear. I have the voted worst party in the game, and I show no fear. Get him, Joker. Get him. Fuck him up, man. Look at that. He did 1 damage. I'm such a fucking dick. Oh, God. Yeah, single stat upgrades are not enough to really make leveling up past 20 worth it so far. Atlas, an axe that nobody's going to use, because we have no axe users. Funny how that is. We'll save you, Joker, for making your stupid decision. Level 22, an empty level for Amon. So far, it's been about what I predicted. Half the time they get a level, half the time they don't. Yeah, it's gonna take all of it. Just fucking kill it. Kill it like the rest. I'm more concerned about the Chimera than I am about anything else. Most of the other enemies are gonna stay put. Die, Chimera. Die, you bastard. Again, I'm taking a big risk here, but we'll use this as our measurements, right? Towards our measurement of, you know, how hard is it when you've max leveled the worst party in the game. Pretty much. Aw, did they tickle your Elmo? so cute. And that's what I'm getting at, is and here's the thing too, is I'm making a point. Even though some of these characters are not in my opinion, the worst characters in the game, my point is this: Shining Force can be beaten with any party. I guarantee you, you could make me play with any party of 12 characters, and I could beat the game. My strategy would vary from format, would vary substantially too, but ultimately it would all lead to the same result. If you know what battles to level up characters in, you'll be fine, and you go about doing it smartly. It's not going to be that hard to do. The only Shining game I could even think of where that would be difficult might be Shining Force 2. But even then, because like some of the battles that you'd have to level up in, where you have to do that leveling practice, I can't even fully think of them in any relevant context. Because you're stuck with certain characters anyways, so where do you go? And then from there, it's like, yeah, where do you go from there? If it's not such a big deal, So what would be a real challenge might be the question of the day. Is to do a single character run, maybe only. You can only use this one character, blah, 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 blah. That might be interesting. At least a little bit, but I still don't know. I still really don't know. I mean, again, you would run into the problem with casters trying to beat the game with only a caster, or one caster, because they can't take damage even at level 20. So that might be the penultimate, run, beat a game with a caster, but you would run out of mana before you could. So I would argue that run, those types of runs would be impossible. Now, maybe beat a game with only casters, max level, they can kill one enemy instantaneously at a time. That'd still be impossible, because there's going to be more enemies than there are casting abilities to do that amount of damage. So I don't know. I think using all ranged characters would probably be the hardest, because they tend to be the squishiest. Not necessarily that they are, but they tend to be the squishiest characters. So there might be something to that run. I'm not gonna worry about it right now, but that would be interesting to look into. Guns had gotten an empty level when he leveled up, so here's the other thing, guys. See, even if I level up promote at 10, I could keep getting tiny level ups for the next 10 levels from 20 to 30. So right now we're not seeing much of a slowdown, if any, based on the enemy types that we're fighting. So, not much to say other than the damage is nominal. There's Arthur's new weapon, the halberd. Send both of our casters over to the right side here. That way they can start working on that mob of skeletons. And to make a point, if I didn't use that running pepper, I'd still be in the same situation. Nothing would really ultimately change. Adam would still be beastly killing things. The party as a whole unit would be moving more, would be just slower, and then Adam probably would fall behind on the way to end game, just because I'd stop caring. Because really, you don't need that extra character. If you did, it would be a character that follows the main hero around as a, pretty much a shield. That's the only purpose he would actually serve. Protect me, gun! There's Lowe's level 20. Nice. Die, Cerberus. Again, empty level for... yeah. The leveling is just total garbage at this point. And it makes sense as to why. So imagine getting like the regular types of level upgrades post 20. Your party would just become invincible. More invincible than they kind of already are, I should actually say. So yeah, Low has 20 to 23 more MP than Gong. Gong hits a little harder. That's really the trade-off. Oh, and by the way, I am correcting myself. Gong gets Aura, but it never gets stronger than Aura level 1. So I believe I made a comment that Gong has the worst loadout because all he gets is that. Is a regular healing spell. I would be mistaken. That's not exactly true. What makes him the worst character is that a healer is that even though he gets aura, you have to be insanely high level to get it. So you'd even at 20 promoted, we were in the chaos fight, and he picked it up either a little before that fight or a little after that fight, and by then it was like, he was already a walking deity by that point anyway. So yeah, it's one of those things where I don't understand the hype behind it per se. Well, I know there's a hype behind Gong. There's a small fan base that really like him, but I still think that Low and Gong are by far the worst healers in the game. You know, I want to take out the priest, though it screws up being able to multi-target, but that's okay. 1 XP for the priest. Sure, you can. And one comment can be made is that the earlier you get characters, the easier it also becomes, right? Because you can level them up more effectively throughout the game. But yeah, Jogurt, your time has come, sir. Do your worst. Yeah. That's a little victory pose. He's like, yeah. He got 1 kill this entire game. He's attacked a handful of times. Because, you know, why not? Give the little guy a break. He's doing his best. He's just a moron. And then after this battle is arguably the hardest battle in the game, which is the robot fight. I don't know if that'll kill it. I kind of regret not using level 2, but we'll see. Should, yeah. And there's an Atlas Axe, so 2 Atlas Axes. So everybody's guaranteed you get an Atlas Axe, and you get it. No, I'm just kidding. But again, ultimate axe weapon, easy to get. One enemy drops one, and the other one can be found in the chest. That's all you need to know. Alright, so nobody died. I have a feeling Joggert's gonna die in this fight too, it being the hardest fight. But we'll see. The biggest threat here are gonna be the laser eyes, so we're not taking any chances. We're going through the jugular on the torch eyes. You know, she'll get a kill outright with this, so just let her get the kill. That way anybody can get it from the front. Go. That'll kill 2 of them and wound 2 others. And now if it's 20, last good level she gonna get. Can't really reach. Nice. Thunderclasp in the darkness, come here. We'll get Ramladu, but like I said, if we use our first round with every one of our characters to deal with these robots, it's a less overall damage. This is a good strategy even when you're not power leveled like me. It's a relatively solid strategy because you're pretty much removing a major damage factor. And again, the torch eyes are the things that are going to hurt you the most. The steel claws can use lasers, but they tend to not do it very often. Unless you're unlucky, and I've been unlucky every once in a while, so it does happen. But most of the time, the torch eyes have no other attack, so they're always going to use their laser attack. So the sooner you remove them from the mortal coil that these characters exist in, the better a time you're really going to have. Because yeah, see, he's using the laser attack. And it's pretty much a fixed damage, so there's no real way around it. But when they claw attack, that's actually a benefit to our characters, because they also, as you can see, have the chance to evade. And then they also gather as well. So even if you have to sacrifice a character to make a bunch of them gather, you know you did the right thing, because they're going to gather, and then you get AoE them into oblivion. And this battle you should hold nothing back. Hit with everything you can. Because I think all the robots have officially gone now. Ramladu's going to get a turn, and then we're going to wipe... Oh no, one more. And then we will wipe out Ramladu. Pretty much bum rush him. Can you kill anything, Joggert? Nah, I didn't think so. You hang back. You hang back, little buddy. Little idiot. Alright, Arthur's got pretty good movement, so we may as well let him go for anything we know he can kill. At 29 points, he can pretty much kill anything. Again, go for the torch eyes, get priority. That way we can get that right side to start working up towards Ramladu. Because at this point, the left side is killable by pretty much whoever's over there. Actually, let me speed this along. Okay. Nice. I should really heal everybody up. Probably half of you sitting there going, "What? How the fuck did you just power through that battle, you son of a bitch?" Again, even if you're 10 levels lower, or even 10 levels lower than what we are, that strategy has some viability. You just got a gun for the torch eyes. Some people try to funnel them up here. I've never found funneling them to work because they just chase you down and they're blasting you along the way, and you're not really doing much damage back to them. So to me, that seems counterintuitive. Whether you agree with that or not is subjective, but it has always come off as counterintuitive to me. You just gung-ho run for it, get the wood, start whipping his ass, and then make the best of it from there on out. I'm going to try something. Because I want to do it. This will be the last fight of this episode anyway. Let's do this. That's a lot of damage to a boss, not gonna lie. Now it's boosted, of course, but still. Still a lot of damage. As is that, especially when it's a deadly attack. And this is a good place for us to stop right now. So I want to thank you guys for stopping by. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/DarkDragon for more live gaming action. And when we come back, we're probably going to take this all the way to endgame, because there's only about 3 battles left. The Colossus fight, and then the 2, Darksol fight and the Dark Dragon fight. So, yeah. Anyway, we're getting there, guys. Last episode probably coming very, very soon. So thanks for stopping by. We'll see you guys next time.